Part of the interruption, but I'm Michael Wilbon. Tony, have you heard the rumor that Pippa Middleton wore a false bottom at the royal wedding?
Tony Kornheiser, yes, and trust me, it is not true.
Okay, so you weren't even at the royal wedding. You've never, to my knowledge,
How do you know where I was?
met Pippa Middleton. Because you were here with me.
How do you know who I know? I'm just saying that I am privy to certain information that leads me to guarantee you that there was no guarantee.
Wow.
Guarantee. And a 5-year warranty as well if you buy the product. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Blazers' new star, the NFL draft's late start, and the New York Rangers' brutal schedule. But we begin today with the opening games in the second round of the NBA playoffs tonight. Washington, the surprise of the playoffs so far, opens at Indiana, which needed a Game 7 at home to beat Atlanta. In that game, Roy Hibbert showed up for the first time in the series, scoring 13 points and getting 7 rebounds. Wilbon, do you trust Indiana to be the good Pacers against the Wizards?
No. No, trust them, no. The Indiana Pacers are out of trust or benefit of the doubt. And you don't get it back by beating a sub-500 Atlanta team. You just don't. I mean, Atlanta. And the fact that Atlanta's in the playoffs is more of an indictment of the Knicks for not getting the 8th spot. But Atlanta got in there. They did all they could. They threatened. They should have won the series in Game 6 at home. But no, Indiana, by beating Atlanta, does nothing.
So you're picking Washington?
Yeah, I am.
You want Washington?
I think the Wizards in 6. The Wizards are a better team. Roy Hibbert's going to have to get out there and play against Gortat and Nene.
Yeah, he's going to play.
These are guys his own size, of equal ability, if not more ability, who played in the first round. So, no, I don't trust
We've
him.
done a lot of psychoanalyzing of the Pacers in the last month or
for
so.
A while, haven't we?
You know, we've looked at Hibbert, who has disappeared. We've looked at Paul George, who's been shrinking. We looked at Frank Vogel, who's coaching for his job, who, by the way, didn't even play Luis Scola, didn't even play Evan Turner at some point, and we've concentrated on them. I think they get to play their full lineup against the Wizards because the Wizards are big. I mean, I think if I was coaching that team, and God knows I'm not, I would feed Roy Hibbert everything he could eat for the first quarter of that game just to reestablish. Don't you think you got to try to reestablish?
You know that used to work, and you and I have been screaming for that for like 2 years out of them. But don't you think at some point they have to maybe gradually get to that because they're damaged?
Oh, they are damaged.
I mean, we've heard people who know about these things, like Stan Van Gundy, say, wait a minute, this is a fragile team.
Yeah.
And if you are fragile, how long does it take for you to get your personality back?
What is interesting about this is that 3 or 4 months ago, Indiana looked like a great team, not a fragile team. They looked great.
Yeah.
Where at that point, Randy Whitman of the Wizards, he's coaching for his job, not Frank Vogel.
Right.
They are a sub-500 team trying to find something, and yet in the last month, the Wizards get better.
At the right
they get better all the time.
You're picking the Wizards, aren't you?
I'm going to withhold my pick till about Game 6, and then I'll let you know. I'm going to wait for a while.
You know what we call that in the business?
I think the Wizards.
Having stones.
I think the Wizards are very good, but I want to see if Roy Hibbert is an actual...
really Roy Hibbert.
Yes.
The guy who was last year.
Yes.
Not this year.
Yes.
That's fair, but you got to make a Game 6 reality.
You're the guy who never picks.
You
sit there, you never pick.
I pick all the time.
Never pick.
OKC and the Clippers begin their second-round series tonight in Oklahoma City. This could just as easily been Memphis versus the Clippers, but the Grizzlies didn't have much of a chance after Zach Randolph was suspended for Saturday's Game 7 for taking a swing at OKC's Steven Adams in Game 6. Tone, did that physical contact, and we're looking at it, does that merit a suspension? And if it does not, doesn't that taint OKC's Game 7 win?
Let me get to the tainting issue, because I'm going to go back to Game 6.
Okay.
Both teams at full strength. Full strength.
Right.
Oklahoma City comes out in Memphis, blows the doors off Memphis.
Took him out.
Mr. Unreliable goes for like 97 points in the first 5 minutes. So to me, we can get into whether that merited a suspension or not. But to me, at full strength at Memphis, when you're down by 15 after a quarter and you lose by 20, I don't want to hear about tainted wins in Game 7, which would have been at Oklahoma City.
Yeah, there's a quality to Game 7s, though, really tests everyone's nerve. And you want to see the teams at full strength if possible. This is not suspendable. The NBA got it right on the Paul George situation. Don't suspend him for having his toes over the line. But you don't make the suspension, Tony. I know there was contact.
I thought it was a push. I didn't think it was a punch.
And a push is not suspendable.
I didn't think it was a punch.
Steve Kerr, who we both agree, is one hell of an analyst. He knows what he's doing, knows what he's seeing, knows what he's talking about. He didn't even mention the possibility of a swing. There's no swing. It's a paw. You don't suspend somebody for that. And so if they got it right with Paul George, they got it wrong with Zach Randolph.
Let me just, if I was a fan of Memphis, if I had something to do with the Memphis franchise, I'd be very angry because I would say Paul George was not suspended. Now you're suspending my guy because Indiana remains a glamour team for you because they were the #1 seed and they have established stars.
Good point.
We in Memphis, we're a backwater place. We have no established stars, so you can pick on us because you want the team with stars with Westbrook and Durant to advance. I would advocate that position if I were from Memphis.
You know what?
I would.
They should have advocated it in between games 6 and 7.
But I don't think they
loudly.
I don't think they would have won, even though I thought at the beginning of the series, I told you I thought they'd win.
Man. And they should have been up 3-1 in that series as well.
Let's go backwards now to the most exciting single play of the weekend. Damian Lillard's buzzer beater in Game 6 to send your overhyped Houston Rockets home. Chandler Parsons had just hit what seemed to be the game winner, but Lillard came back with 0.9 seconds to win. Wilbon, is Damian Lillard now a national star?
Not quite. A game can do that. A shot can do that. We saw that at a different level with Austin Rivers. Austin Rivers, people actually probably knew more than Damian Lillard because he's son of a famous coach.
Well, it was a college game. That was the #1 college game of the year.
I mean, right?
That's right.
This shot, which is being called, and you and I have been to Portland. We've seen great Portland teams and great games in Portland. It is being called the biggest shot, the most important shot in the history of that franchise. Not yet,
That's
Tony.
ridiculous.
I'm telling you what is being called in Portland.
Because they won a championship.
But maybe there wasn't one shot associated with that team, that champion.
I can't listen.
I know that's one of your favorite teams, but hold on for a second. Lillard can get to stardom from where he is now. Ooh. We've seen Bill Walton has been a star in Portland. Clyde Drexler, lesser star, but a star. You can be a star. If Kevin Durant can be a star in OKC, Portland's a bigger place than Oklahoma City.
Damian Lillard is not now a star for two specific reasons. One, he went to Weber State, which is not Duke and not Kansas, not Texas, if you want to mention Durant. So he doesn't come into the league with anything.
He had no hype coming in.
No. And now he's in Portland, which is an outpost. And they play their games at 11 o'clock at night Eastern. Now, you go down the coast, the Lakers have stars and the Clippers have stars, but in Portland, not a place with a lot of stars in the background other than Bill Walton. It's harder. Now, Adidas has just given him about $1 trillion.
I was going to say, Adidas, like Nike, they're right there.
That's right. And maybe because they're afraid that Derrick Rose is never really going to play again, so they got somebody with the same color scheme, and they want to make him into a star. But for Damian Lillard, now in Portland, to be a national star, they've got to get to the finals.
I was going to say.
Got to get to the finals.
If they beat the Spurs.
LaMarcus Aldridge is better known than Damian Lillard.
You would think he'd be higher up the totem pole.
And he's not a star
yet. But there's something about Lillard. The commercial, by the way, is very good. You admit, right?
Yes.
They got those people to be in that commercial. Pretty impressive.
Yes, but he's not. No, not yet. Not a star yet.
Population theory or just
no.
Northeast bias.
Yeah, well, do you think it's a Northeast bias when I say that the Lakers and the Clippers have stars?
The Lakers, you just sort of
Clippers have stars.
You like all the other Northeast writers just annex the Lakers in like they're yours.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because you see some East Coast people sitting on the front row.
So I'll tell you what. Go to Portland. Live.
Nice job. Portland's beautiful. Place.
Yeah, except when it rains 300 days a year. I love you, Portland.
Sure you do. We're 3 days away from the NFL draft, Tony, and some folks who follow the NFL's every single move claim to have draft fatigue because the NFL's holiest offseason day was pushed back for 2 weeks, and they're rebelling against 2 extra weeks of mock drafts, repeat speculation. Respected people in this business, like Mike Freeman, Mike Florio, Ashley Fox, say even GMs and coaches don't like the new timing of the draft. Tony, did the NFL make a mistake? And if so, should they just simply move it back to the old April draft time?
Mike Freeman is working for Bleacher Report, and I had him on the radio today. And he said he could find NFL people who would tell you that this was a mistake. They're not going to say it publicly. They tell you this was a mistake. And the reason they think it's a mistake is through this overextended period of time, there are more people. It's like the deconstruction of football players who are going to be welcomed into this league. Everybody has more time to find fault with them. So there's a sense, and he would name Teddy Bridgewater as an example of this, where for reasons that nobody really understands. He
now is in the 5th round because people had 2 extra weeks to talk about it.
He may end up in the baseball draft. He's sinking so far in this. So Freeman believes, and we understand why they did this, because they wanted to own May and June, the NFL. But Freeman believes, given a choice, the NFL might walk this back.
And they always have the choice. It's their pick. But they're not going to. You know why? The NFL rarely gets this kind of thing wrong. The NFL, even in its extreme arrogance, the type pointed out by Mark Cuban, that he thinks is going to lead to some sort of ruination in 10 years. I don't see that. But in their arrogance, they know what they can own. And they can get a bigger rating, I think, this time after more draft talk. Tony,
I don't know.
The draft, the speculation, how much more can you speculate about Johnny Football and Jadeveon Clowney?
Because
they haven't done anything.
Right. It begins to sound stale. The mock drafts begin to have a certain sameness.
They've been stale.
No, but this year, what I've liked watching are those pro days, especially the Manziel pro day. That was lots of fun. But if you get a sense that it sounds and feels tired, and the NFL's pretty good at that, they're not going to keep it. The draft is going to be a big success because it always is a big success.
Didn't they talk about just making it over an entire week? Pretty soon we have draft month, and we can say breathlessly, 8 days until the draft begins.
Well, they say that anyway.
You know what? The NFL gets these things right.
The New York Rangers play tonight at home after playing last night in Pittsburgh. Tonight will be the 5th playoff game in 7 days for the Rangers. Last Tuesday and Wednesday, they went back-to-back home and away, and now they're doing it again. The Rangers are the first team in 25 years to play 5 playoff games in 7 days, Wilbon. Is this fair?
Yes. Yes.
It is?
The NHL didn't schedule Madison Square Garden. They didn't decide it was Billy Joel's birthday and he had to have whatever he's having.
He's having his 65th birthday concert.
Who booked that?
The Garden.
The Garden.
That's right.
The Garden
They're
is
in the entertainment business.
Fine. The Garden's fault. Don't blame the NHL. When all these arenas look to make money and they book concert after concert, Lady Gaga and the Wizards.
She could blow the Wizards out of the box in Game 6.
Then you blame the people who run the building.
But do you think it's possible? I mean, 5 games in 7 days in the playoffs seems like a lot. And you could say, oh, well, it took them 7 to beat the Flyers. You can't penalize a team for going 7.
So the people who run the building they play in ought to have an obligation to look forward.
They're not kicking Billy Joel out because he makes a lot of money.
You want to have it both ways? Which one do you want?
No.
Do you want rest for your Rangers, for your blue shirts, or do you want Billy Joel?
I would give him an extra day or 2. Now, you know why the Rangers may want to play? Because Sidney Crosby hasn't scored a playoff goal since 2002, it seems.
Like it.
And so you want to keep playing against him as long as he's in this drought. But I think 5 in 7.
Wait,
I think that's too much.
Is it a high number of games? Yes. Now let's assess blame. What you love to do if it's, say, Dwight Howard, you want to assess blame.
Oh, wait.
Let's assess blame here.
Dwight Howard's not playing 5 out of 7.
No, not anymore.
Because he's not in the second round.
But you blamed him. So blame who you should blame. Blame your precious building, Madison Square Garden.
Stop.
Blame the Garden. Be a man.
The league should
step up.
The league should work with the Garden in some way. Let's take a break. But coming up, a reported post-game showdown between the Clippers and Warriors.
I guess you're going to blame Lady
How do I work Dwight Howard into that?
Plus, Queen, Floyd, California Chrome. There was a horse race?
Yeah.
Mail time is next.
Yeah.
I bet the Garden could book him.
So you think Dwight Howard had a great run this year?
He had a good series.
Have a great run?
No, he had a good series. That's it.
These days, you can get practically anything on demand, like this podcast. Did you know you can even get postage on demand? You can with Stamps.com. No more going to the post office. No more waiting in line. Just go to Stamps.com and print all the postage you want, anytime you want. Anything you can do at the post office, you can do right from your desk with Stamps.com. Buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter or package using your own computer and printer. And, unlike the post office, Stamps.com never closes, so you can get postage whenever you need it. Right now, get this special offer from Stamps.com when you use promo code PTI, a no-risk trial plus a $110 bonus offer that includes a digital scale and up to $55 free postage. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com and, before you do anything else, click on the microphone at the top of the home page and type in PTI. That's Stamps.com, promo code PTI.
It's mail time, where our interns find 4 emails and then continue fanning me and feeding me grapes. And so I got first one.
Some sort of real workplace violation in that.
Were the Clippers out of line to taunt the Warriors in their locker room after beating them in Game 7?
The Clippers didn't taunt the Warriors. I know because I was there. Now, somebody who might have been affiliated with the Clippers, Ball Boy is one of the explanations being given, said something, and players from both sides appeared to come out to say, what's going on here? But after the game, and I was there at courtside looking at this, the teams were considering how much they find each other loathsome and are irritated by each other and almost come to blows. I thought they were pretty warm with each other in almost a hockey way.
This is a Sam Amick story from USA Today.
He doesn't say Clippers. He says it could be somebody from the Clippers. I don't think there were any Clippers there because I was there. Didn't see any Clippers do that.
Well, I wasn't there.
Okay.
And I would just tell you that after a hard-fought series like that, if you are the Clippers and you find out that the Warriors can hear you very easily in their locker room,
right,
and you taunt them, that would be bad. That would be low rent. You should end these series the way the NHL ends these series, with an embrace.
This is close to that. By the way, again, you may be able to hear people through thin walls, and you can say whatever you want to in the privacy of your own locker room. In my opinion, I didn't see any actual
Shouldn't
Clippers,
be shouting taunts.
Doing that.
Shouldn't be doing.
Did the legend of Yasiel Puig grow, even on a play he did not make?
Look, we know he's got the ability to throw darts from the outfield, and we know that he can hit. And we know that he runs like the wind, even if he runs himself out of place sometimes. Ooh, now we see he'll sell out.
Yeah.
Now we see that he will do everything. Now, he didn't catch the ball, and the game ends that way with him not catching the ball. But if you're asking me, does it add to the legend that a guy will crash into the wall like that and give everything he's got to make the play? Yeah. Yes, it does.
Yeah, just don't do it if you're a Yankee and you do it against the Red Sox, because then it becomes sort of a bone of contention, Derek Jeter. I don't know that it adds to it yet. Maybe it does, Tony, because you always talk about reels, video reels.
This is on the highlight reel for Puig forever.
And you know what? Not catching the ball.
Vulnerability.
Shows you're vulnerable, shows you're flawed, but you are willing to lay it out.
That's right.
And so I agree with you on this.
That's right. Are you buying that Floyd Mayweather is suddenly beatable?
Hell yeah. He's 37 years old. He's beatable. Even if he wasn't beatable, and for a long time, he wasn't beatable. Of course, it helped that he ran from his top opponent for a few years. But Floyd Mayweather is one of the great all-time fighters, regardless of weight class. I don't care how great you are. 37, you're going to start to lose. That's where he is.
Here's what happens. Rocky Marciano walked away undefeated. Nobody else walks away undefeated. Everybody gets beat. Muhammad Ali gets beat. Larry Holmes gets beat. Julio Cesar Chavez gets beat.
Two-majority decisions.
And this guy's going to get beat. He's going to get beat because that's the only way you know when to walk.
That's right.
Now, what he wants to do is own the Clippers. So maybe he'll own the Clippers and he'll never fight again. But if he fights again, eventually he's going to get beat.
He has made more money
than
any athlete out there. He has managed his career.
So.
He's tended all of it well.
Yes,
Tony. But you can't just go undefeated if you keep fighting at 38, 39 years old.
Right.
Father Time, baby, undefeated. Does the Derby champ, this is your window, have the makings of a movie?
If you win the Triple Crown, you got to win the Triple Crown.
Then nobody does that.
Here's a great story. Two guys get together, scrape together $10,000. They buy a horse which has no breeding whatsoever.
Right.
They have a 77-year-old trainer who once slept in the stall 60 years ago with Swaps, when Swaps was a Derby winner, and they refuse an offer of $6 million in cold cash for 51% of this horse. And if this horse wins the Triple Crown, not only do you get the movie, but you get 10 times $6 million. I'm
going to take the next 27 seconds to say this.
Go ahead.
This is now the 34th year that we have, on some level, someplace worked professionally. This is the 34th First May and Monday. I return from wherever I return to see you so invigorated and excited about a storyline and how this is going to be the year.
Maybe.
Except
it never is.
It never is. Because we've had 12 horses already. Not just go Kentucky Derby,
the last one, right?
but go twice. How about Big Brown? How about Smarty Jones? How about Funny Side, War Emblem, Charismatic, Sunday Silence, Ali Sheba? And they don't do it. And so why should I pay attention?
Wait till the Belmont. Wait till the Belmont.
You never used to say
Enough email. Time for a break, but on the way, a PTI investigation into Tom Brady's new blonde faux hawk.
Plus, Paul Pierce lifts the Nets into the second round. You were so beaten down by no Triple Crown, you were now even saying, let's wait. You never used to say that.
You can't get to the Triple Crown if you don't win the Preakness, and then it only matters what happens in the Belmont.
That didn't stop you for decades.
Happy time, people. Not ripping Portland, not ripping Memphis.
You said it rained every day.
Love the barbecue at Rendezvous. Happy 25th birthday, Rory McIlroy. His birthday was actually yesterday when McIlroy was on his way to an 8th-place finish at Quail Hollow. It's a solid result, not a sexy one. McIlroy hasn't won on the PGA Tour since 2012. 2 majors at a very young age, but he has not stepped up to fill the Tiger void.
And by the way, Tiger today offered no timetable on his return. Said he had the surgery because he couldn't make a golf swing. close quote.
Happy anniversary, LeBron James. On this day last year, you won your 4th NBA MVP, receiving 120 of 121 first-place votes. Widely expected that Kevin Durant will win the MVP later this week, but he's going to have to go some to match LeBron, who also won the NBA championship last year.
Other than LeBron and KD, do you see another person on the horizon who can win MVPs?
Not right now. They're the
Just
best
those
two players right now. Happy trails to the Toronto Raptors. Kyle Lowry was in the lane in the final seconds with a chance to win Game 7, but Paul Pierce made a terrific block without fouling, sending the Nets to the second round. The Nets will play the Heat there, a team they swept 4-0 in the regular season.
Well, Lowry breaks through the double team there, and he comes up with what appeared to be a loose ball. When he goes up, don't you think game over for Toronto?
At least there was defense there, not like James Harden. No defense on Damian Lillard.
Pierce knows how to play.
Bonus happy trails to Craig Robinson. Oregon State fired Robinson with 3 years remaining on his contract. No NCAA appearances in 6 seasons. Robinson is the brother-in-law of Barack Obama, who was really funny at the White House Correspondents' Dinner Saturday night, which won't help Robinson get a job, but it made me laugh. He was funny.
South Side of Chicago guy I root for. He'll get another job, I hope. You sat next to Bellamy Young. How great is that?
She is very, very pleasant.
You don't even know her role in Scandal, do you?
I know that she's a vegan because I watched
what she ate,
and it wasn't
very
for
hot
me.
Melly.
Time to find out we messed up, Reali.
Interesting. Yasiel Puig not in the starting lineup for the Dodgers tonight against Washington.
Big finish real quick.
Let's do it.
Michael Carter-Williams of the Sixers, the NBA Rookie of the Year. Do you think he'll be a legit star?
Like Damian Lillard, that's down the road a little bit, not just yet. The Houston Chronicle says Kevin McHale will return as Rockets coach next season. Is that okay with you?
It's fine, but he's got to get more than the first round out of Harden and Howard.
I agree.
Jameis Winston reinstated to the Florida State baseball team. Okay by you?
Maybe not. Do they really know? Has a full investigation on this been done? Such a long sheet of things. I just wonder. Tom Brady was seen at the Derby with a blonde faux hawk. Does that work for you?
Tom Brady can do whatever he wants. Is that Aaron Rodgers he's
Aaron
next to
Rodgers
there?
He looks great, doesn't he?
Both of them can do what they want.
Yeah.
Last one, Wes Welker, handing out hundreds after winning big at the Kentucky Derby. Is that responsible?
Does Wes Welker have so much money he can give away, he can make it rain at the Derby?
We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, knuckleheads. Check out the PTI podcast on iTunes Tone. We should get a horse. Buy a horse. Breed it.
I got the horse right
Get to
here.
the Derby.
His name is Paul Revere. People say when the weather's clear, can do.
What makes the Indy 500 the greatest spectacle in racing?
Back home again in India.
We are free. Everyone in the grandstands are on their feet. You're now the winner of the Indianapolis 500, my friend.
The Indianapolis 500, Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific on ABC.